Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whatever's relevant for you guys, wherever you're watching from. I'm Duke, obviously, it says down there. Look. Um, Gacy can't be with us tonight for the Burnley preview. He's decided to go off and go see some show in London somewhere with his missus. So he's decided that he's going to drop the bomb and leave me doing this, which I thought is always pleasurable. I'm not, I don't do these on my own. So the fact that he's decided he's going to go and have an evening away, I think he's taking the Mickey slightly, to be honest with you. But hey ho. So let's see what we've got in the chat. Haroldinho, good evening, sir. How are you? Harry, hope you're well. Warrior, even Duke, right. Yes. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you, boys, I thought it was our fate. So I jumped on at 5-2 to do a little bit of me stills in images, and I got nothing. So I had to delay it by 10 minutes. All's good. We're in there, aren't we? Bernard Serchan, Gatesy's not here, I'm afraid, as you're asking for him. I'm afraid he won't be joining you this evening. You're going to be stuck with me, unfortunately. And Harry, thank you. I wouldn't class myself as that. But thanks anyway. Now listen, we're here to discuss the matter in hand, which is tomorrow's 2 o'clock kickoff, which again is another game that is not on television tomorrow. I do believe Sky are taking the proverbial of us being a top 4 side and nowhere near the TV at the minute. I'm not sure who your games are for tomorrow that are on TV. I do know that there is one 2 o'clock kickoff, unlike last week, where we didn't have a 2 o'clock kickoff, did we, last week? Tomorrow's 2 o'clock kickoff, I am just having a quick look for you, is Leicester Newcastle. So, you've got one side there that have just been, knocked out of Europe. You've got another side there that are, by the skin of their teeth, hanging on to their, Premier League survival, if you will. So, again, not quite sure what we've got to do to try and get on TV. In my opinion, tomorrow, you'd like to think we're strong enough to take the 3 points. Now, Harry, as you've just put there, my friend, it's always a difficult place to go, and it is. They're a solid side. They're a good, hard-working footballing side, and we are going to have our work cut out for us tomorrow. I think we've got enough. I do think we've got enough to get the win. I don't see why we can't. So Gacy put me together a couple of lineups. He's also chucked himself in on a video that I have seen, and it's Gacy for it. So I'm going to stick up the first little thing that he's given us, which is the lineup for West Ham tomorrow. So this is what Gacy believes that David Moyes will go with for tomorrow's game. He's gone with Fabianski in goal. He believes that Cresswell's going to be back and fit enough to start tomorrow's game. And then Soufal on the other side. He's gone with Diop and Dawson in the middle, which, in fairness, is our only first choice pairing, really, for the Premier League. If you think that obviously Alese and Baptiste, I think, performed admirably on Thursday night. I just don't think they're ready to step up into the Premier League starting 11. He's then gone with Rice and Souček. Rice obviously captain in the side in their holding roles. He's gone with Masuaku at left wing. He's gone with Lanzini in the holding in the number 10 role. He's gone with Jared Bowen out on the right, and he's gone with Mikel Antonio up front. Now, whilst I don't necessarily agree with what Gates has put there. I can understand why he's gone for those. I mean, myself, I'd like to see. I think I'd like to see Ben Rama out there on the left, or even maybe a Pablo Fornells. You know, I don't think either of them quite recently have covered themselves in glory. Saying that, I don't think Antonio has covered himself in glory in the last 6 or 7 weeks. So, you know, we need to be getting a tune out of these players, and going to Burnley, as Harry alluded to earlier, difficult place to go. You know, we need these players to turn up. We need the likes of Jared Bowen, you know, to continue the form he's shown. I think he's been playing quite well. You know, he scored a good goal against Chelsea. Um, you know, so we need Antonio to start firing. We also need Ben Rama or Fornells out on that left to be doing the same, as Harry says there. He'd rather go for Ben Rama or Fornells, pardon me, out on the left. So yeah, that's my thinking. And listen, I wouldn't expect Masuaki to find to find the goal that he found last week again. You know, so yeah, Warrior, thank you. That's much appreciated. You know, I'm not exactly overly comfortable sitting here looking at a screen with my face on it, talking to myself. He has to come in now, doesn't he? Sitting up in London, right? This is his problem. So he doesn't trust me to do it on my own. I see you, Rob. I see you. As he says there, guys, please drop a like on the stream. Share it. I should have done this at the start. This is the thing. See, he comes in and reminds me, because you know what? He knows. He knows I'm going to press the wrong buttons. He knows I can't do it on my own. And that's just me. You know, I'm terrible for it. Yeah, Rob, look, I'll do it for you now. Is this the one you want? There you go, Rob. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon to be notified of any new content that either myself or Rob put up on the channel, guys. So after that little lineup there that Gates given us for the West Ham lineup, he's done us a little video. Now, for those of you who have seen some of Gates' stuff before, I've got a little treat for you. Well, I'm going to call it a little treat. Let's put it that way. I'll let you guys make up your mind. Here's Gates' video for the Burnley team, the Burnley lineup. I know damn well he had this all lined up, and this is why he's done this little video. I know why he's done it. Here's a little treat for you guys. A couple of minutes long. Here's Gates' predicted lineup for Burnley tomorrow.
In goal, it will be the England international Nick Pope. Bernard. Yeah, mate, that's the Pope. Nick Pope. Thank you. I bet Jake Cox doesn't get this on West Ham Unofficial. Anyway, so in front of Nick Pope it will be a back four. Charlie Taylor will be the left fullback. Matt Lowton will be the right fullback. And I suspect that the left-sided centre half will be James Tarkowski. I believe that Ben Mee will miss out due to an injury that he's got. I believe it's his shoulder. Alongside him will be Nathan Collins, the Republic of Ireland international. In front of them, from left to right, it will be Dwight McNeil on the left, who's a player that I really do rate, and if Burnley should succumb to the drop, I think that's a player we should absolutely be after in the summer. The two central midfielders will be Josh Brownhill and Ashley Westwood, I suspect. And on the right hand side will be Johan Berg Gudmundsson, the Icelandic international. Up front, Chris Wood, who has a really good goal scoring record against us. He's a bit of a throwback as far as a sort of centre forward is concerned, very much in the Andy Carroll envelope, a very a hustling, bustling, physical centre forward in the old school mode. And I think his partner will, I suspect that Maxwell Cornet, who's been something of a revelation for Burnley this season, again, I suspect he's going to miss out with injury, and I suspect it will be the Czech international Mate Vidra. Now, the reason why I suspect that Ben Mee and Maxwell Cornet are very unlikely to make the game on Sunday is real simple. On Wednesday, Burnley have a game against Watford, and I rather suspect that Sean Dyche will be saving those two, giving them a bit more time to rest, recuperate and recover properly, and going against Watford in what is potentially a relegation 6-pointer. Burnley are going to either stay up or go down by the results against the teams that are around them, and if they get a win against a team that's fourth, it would be a great boost to them, I'm sure, in terms of confidence. But if he puts out players that are possibly not quite ready, and then they're possibly out for the Watford game, I think that it's a risk and reward thing. I think that he would be probably better off leaving Cornet and me out of the starting 11 against us and putting them in against Watford. I think it will probably give him a better chance, and Burnley a better chance of getting a result against Watford.
So there was Gates's lineup there. I've got a little image for it. So there it is. So I haven't got Bernard, so I know that we've got Nick Pope in goal, and then as he said, he's got Taylor on the left, Latin on the right, Tarkowski and Collins in the middle, and then he's got a midfield four, Dwight McNeil. He's got Brownhill, Westwood, and Goodmanson across the midfield four there, and he's got Vidra and Wood up front. Again, I look at that side and I don't understand. I think we've got better quality across certain areas of the pitch. I think, don't get me wrong, I think Nick Pope is a fantastic goalkeeper. But other than that, I think we've got a stronger lineup there. There isn't really one there that I think that I would rather take than what we've got on our lineup. So I can't, I'm confident, slightly confident of tomorrow. I think we should be able to get the points. I'm again gutted that it's not on TV. Again, I don't understand why it's not on TV. We are in the top four. Is it just me being greedy? And after the end of last season, where we had all the games were shown on TV across the course of the weeks, coming out of lockdown, or while we were in lockdown, sorry, and obviously they got the games played to the empty stadiums. Yeah, it might be. It might just be me being a little bit greedy and wanting to see the games. Simon, good evening. A nice lucky win for your mob this afternoon. What was it, 94th minute? Second penalty. Jorginho, wasn't it? I think got the winner. So a very lucky win for you. Yeah, you know what, Rob? I'm glad you put Bernard there, mate, and not me, because I'm not feeling overly comfortable sat here on this seat on my own. I'm not going to lie to you. Max, Harry says Masuaku would definitely score again with Pope in goal. I'd like to think that Pope's positioning is a little bit better than Mendy's would have been. If I'm honest, that's just me. Peter says that Tarkowski's can score the winner for us. Maybe. I mean, listen, I know that there's talk of him moving in January. I don't want him. He already turned us down once. Why are we going back in again? Rob says, Harry, I know Pope John Paul was a goalie in Poland. Not sure about Pope. That's news to me. I did not know this. Mr. Gates with the with a bombshell there. I didn't know. Peter says that the video of Rob reminded him of memories of the old porter cabin shop. You know, I remember that. I went once back then. I was taken by an old friend of the family, and I do remember the old porter cabin out there. Reminds me of when I used to go to the local conference side when we were at school and growing up, secondary school, and they used to have exactly the same thing. I think they might even still do actually at Welling Football Club. I think they might even still have a porter cabin at the front. Peter Gacy agrees with you, Peter, saying that you know they were the good old days. Burnley, with all due respect, are very much a meat and potatoes, vanilla beige teeth. But Rob, yeah, you say that they do get the job done, don't they? They do get the job done. They're a solid side. Listen, mate, if you're about and you want to hop on, you know, walking around London or wherever it is that you find yourself now, you are more welcome to hop on. This is your channel as well. If not, I can continue to do this on my Todd. I do not mind. Guys in the chat, hit me with what you think of Gates' lineups there, what he thinks he's gonna, what he's gonna go with. And let's get some conversation going. You know what, Peter, you spot on, mate. We could be sitting top, and the so-called experts would say we're in the title race. They don't like us doing well. You know what, mate? I couldn't agree with you more. I was having a conversation. I was doing some training today over at a pub in Bromley, getting ready for me to take on my own pub in a couple of weeks. Well, just over a week now it is. And I was having a conversation with some of the locals in there, and there was a mixture: Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Millwall. And they agreed. You know, one of them actually brought up the fact that when we played Chelsea last week, Lineker said, we've got, you know, the top three are involved in the games. I think they said they had 3 games and the top 3 are involved. He couldn't even bring himself to give us the compliment of saying the top 4 are involved. You know, Chelsea, West Ham, West Ham, Chelsea, sorry. And it really did bug me. It really did annoy me that they can't give us the compliments of being, you know, in the top 4, even, you know, and the fact that we are there and we're sticking around. Let's not mess around. We are sticking around. I think Arsenal won today, so I think we need to pick up the 3 to jump back up tomorrow. You don't look like you are in London.
I'm not.
I did
tell you I might be back in time, and you were like, "No, it's fine."
Did you get the DeLorean?
Oh, mate, I tell you what. Any of you guys watching, if you get the opportunity to go and see Back to the Future the musical, it's brilliant, absolutely superb. Honestly, the effects in it are something else. They've got the DeLorean. It does sort of like turns and flips, and oh, mate, superb. Superb, absolutely outstanding.
You sound like a kid at Christmas, mate. You
sound
like you
mate, seriously. I was back to me childhood. I mean, honestly, unbelievable.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate.
Hang on a minute. Could you turn that off, please? Because that's really off-putting. It's all right. They've got you on the telly, and I'm like, so it's really off-putting.
No, this can't look good in big screen.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. I was watching, and I was like, you know, hey, he's doing all right, but one problem.
Go on.
That.
I told you. People in the chat, I told you. I can't win.
All right, I'll turn it off. I didn't say anything.
No. Put your thing back up. No, actually, that's it, bro. Don't put your thing back up. Just put the banner back on. For crying out loud. Behave yourself. How you been anyway? You good?
Honestly, it was really good. Really, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. That's the first time I've been up the West End for a musical in 2 years, 2.5 years. Something like that.
Yeah,
and I got right into my musicals. I got right into my musicals before. I wouldn't say I was a musical buff or anything like that, but probably about from about 2018, 2019, me and the missus, because sort of like the kids are getting to an age where they're a little bit older now. So we were sort of like, what should we do? And went to a few musicals, and then one musical turned into two. And we'd sort of like a couple of times we'd book an overnight stay as well into a hotel up the West End. And, well, yeah, well, why not? You know, go out and have a couple of shandies and this, that, and the other, and
a little more
got into it. It was really good, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm good. I'm glad you had a good time up there today.
Yeah, it was great.
I had a good afternoon at the Chatterton Arms today, and I actually found out, Rob. I don't know whether you were here. You know, I've got the guy called Jack Valentine. He's the Frank Sinatra singer that we have.
Yes.
He's actually. I was sitting there with Dee, the young girl, the pub operator of the Chatterton Arms in Bromley. We were doing our training today. We were going through some stuff on the back office, and we were working out a day next week where I can do a cashing up shift with us own, because obviously they do things a little bit differently to what we did at the Ball.
Yeah.
And as we were going through next week's rota, I noticed that obviously on Wednesday, I believe at the pub there, they've got an open mic night.
Oh.
But also on TV, if my memory serves me, is a certain game of football on Wednesday night, isn't there?
Ah, is that the Arsenal game you're talking about?
It is. Now,
Okay.
I believe it's on TV. Now, do you want to hear something quite amusing?
Go
on. Dee is actually an Arsenal season ticket holder, an Arsenal fan.
Oh.
And she was possibly going to be going next week. What we've decided to do is we might just watch the game together in the pub. And
a little bit of banter going back and forth, I suggest.
The last two games she's been to were the away games at Everton and the away game at United. So she's not exactly a good luck charm if she does go. So I did tell her she can go. So yeah, that could be quite fun. But yeah, on Friday next week, which is Mad Friday for the pubs, isn't it? Because everyone breaks up and hey, look, you have to put the other Burnley banner up.
Say
you
that.
Really alone, can
you say that. We got on. We was obviously got the train up from Dartford to Charing Cross.
Yeah.
I think it was was it Plumstead? It was Plumstead. Sitting there minding our own business in this carriage, and on our carriage walked 16 Father Christmases.
That weekend, maybe.
Yeah, they were all sort of like having a. They were absolutely, you know, in high spirits, but completely harmless.
Good.
They had a couple of people that come up and had their photographs taken with them and all that.
You were one of them, weren't you? Go on, be honest.
No, I didn't. No, I held it. I held it in. I was quite excited. There was one guy that actually he had a proper beard, and I think he'd sprayed it white. It wasn't. It didn't look like it was real, but he'd got something.
By the way.
Yes. I waved the old king of shaves over it. So sorry.
No, it's all right. You know, stops chafing on her legs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What was it saying? Jack Valentine, the Frank Sinatra singer.
Yeah.
He's actually at the Chatterton Arms next Friday. On their Mad Friday, we were looking through, and I saw she had the word Sinatra written down for next Friday.
Nice.
I asked her, "Who's your Frank Sinatra singer?" She went, "Oh, it's a guy called Jack." So I was like, "No, Jack Valentine," and I went mad. I was like, "This guy is fantastic." So I dropped, because I'm friends with him on Facebook. So I dropped him a little message and said, "Are you playing the Chatterton?" He said yes. I said, "Well, I'll be there because obviously I'm training over there. I think I'm on 2 till 9.
You got to get him at the Lewisham Tavern, ain't you?
And he'll definitely be coming there. Don't worry about that. But he sent me a couple of messages saying that I'm required to sing with him because it's part of my rigorous management training. So
well, hang on. So he's going to be doing Sinatra, and you're going to be doing country and western, aren't you?
I'll be doing Dean Martin. Don't you worry about that.
Oh.
I'll be Dean Martin to his Frank Sinatra, because I can. I can do a bit of that. I
Go
can
on
do
then.
a bit of the old Dino.
Go on then.
No. You'll have to come next week.
No.
chat
Just a
on
little. Just a
and
little. Come on.
record it.
Come on. Listen, we got 15 people watching. You got all. Well, it's 14 now because they think you're going to sing.
Because they
so
realise
one of
I'm
them's
going to
pissed
sing.
off. So, but the other 14 would quite like to be entertained.
Listen, if the other 14 want to hear it, put it in the chat, and maybe at the end, I will.
Come on, guys, help us out. You want to hear Duke
might-
sing, don't you? You want to hear him in his full on Dean Martin.
Well, I'll give you an idea, Casey. When my mum got married, good number of years ago, to her second husband, to my stepdad, Mitch.
Yep.
Me and my brother and sister weren't going to get him any wedding presents because we were told not to. So I actually sang their first dance.
Oh.
Everybody Loves Somebody by Dean Martin. I actually sang their first dance.
Come on.
So,
Come
no.
on.
Hey, look,
Come
listen,
on.
there's nothing in the chat. There's no, look.
No, well, there is now. I've just seen it. Cyber.
Hush your noise a minute. We will.
Mind you, three of them are pissed off, to be fair. They've dropped down to 13.
That's fine. We're down to 13 now. I don't mind. It's fine.
The rest of them want to hear it. Come on.
Yeah, I know. They can wait to hear it. So I did see, Mr. Gates, that you gave me some nuggets.
What, you mean? Oh, have you already got it? Or you've got it.
I've
got it. I can share it if that makes it easier.
If you want to.
Hang on.
You're more than welcome.
If you want to whip that off, if you know what I mean.
Well.
And
excuse me.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So we press that button, press that button, and then as if by magic. Oh, hang on, and we got to press that button as well to get rid of that. And as if by magic, the shopkeeper appeared. Over to you, dude. You can talk through it. I'll be button monkey tonight, and we'll do a role reversal.
Was that? Hang on.
What?
That was the TV show where we used to get changed in the changing rooms and come out in a completely different place. What was it?
What are you on about?
You said the shopkeeper appears.
Oh, that was Mr. Ben.
Mr. Ben, that's his name.
Mr. Ben.
Used to go in, didn't he? Used to go into the changing room, get a fancy dress costume, go out the other side, and then the shopkeeper would appear to bring him home, wouldn't he?
I for a brief moment, I transported you back to your childhood, hadn't I?
You did. I used to love that show. Peaches in the house.
He is. Are you going to get the comments up, or are you? Do you want me to press buttons?
Monkey, remember?
Do you want me to press buttons?
Yeah, go on. You can press buttons. I don't mind.
Should I press that one? Well, that one. Or that one. Or that one. Or that one.
Related to sewing machine because he's a singer. I like that one.
Hang on.
I like it.
Very good. Very good. I like that, Pete. I like that.
It's a good one.
And look, he's still, because I sent him photographs from the Adelphi.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Honestly, Peach, if it comes to Canada, go and see it. And if it doesn't come to Canada, you need to come over here, mate.
But it is. Cyber is terrible.
Oh, bloody hell! I didn't know which one was the last one he put up.
No, you're still not good enough.
Sorry. Yeah, but at least I'm better than Bernard. Idiot.
Listen, you can't keep calling Dyche Bernard. She's going to get the ump and leave you.
No, honestly, I'll tell you what. He keeps trying to sort of get a raise off of me. I'm like, are you kidding? Only raise he's going to get from me is my size 9's up his jacksy.
He might like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, I'm not getting involved in that conversation, but he might. Anyway, back to the Burnley game tomorrow. So in our previous X amount of games, I'm maybe going to try and sit here and try and add that up. Actually, I'm going to. Hang on. 92 games.
Okay.
92 games against Burnley. We have won 39, drawn 18, and lost 35. Now, I'd like to think we can make that 40 tomorrow, Rob, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, listen, they're before I came on, and I made the comment about their meat and potatoes, their vanilla, their beige, and I wasn't trying to be disparaging. And obviously, you said that they get the job done. And to be fair, in the last 5 years or so of their tenure in the Premier League, that is entirely true. Indeed, they finished 7th one year and qualified for the Europa. So I'm not trying to be disparaging, disrespectful when I say that. They're very much a sort of like, what you see is what you get. Do you know what I mean? They're very, there's no frills with them. If that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll say, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No.
I'm really not. If anyone watches this that's a Burnley fan and thinks, typical London sort of, bias and arrogance, and no, it's not. I'm just
difficult.
Yeah,
they really do make
and
things
I'm not.
difficult for 'em.
Yeah, and I'm not one of these people, because I know there's sometimes that there's a little bit of snobbishness about
Yeah.
teams like Burnley or teams like Bolton under Sam Allardyce. Do you know what I mean? Where when they get a result against a perceived bigger team, and their default, the sort of like the default position of the opposition manager is one of, oh, they didn't play football, they were doing this, they were doing that, and it's like, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to, you expect them to play in a way? Yeah, you expect them to play in a way that makes your life easier. Is that the way this has got to be? No, you're a multi.
Well, Big Sam said it once, mate, didn't he? After the West Ham Chelsea game.
I was there,
and Jose had a dig, and he went, he don't like it, does he? He don't like it, and he started laughing at the press. And he's right. Like, at the end of the day, you play to your strengths for you to be able to get a result. And listen, any team under Big Sam, we know how teams that set up under Big Sam are going to play. It's Big Sam's way of playing. And listen, as you and me have discussed before, Big Sam does exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
He came in and he gave us a promise that he would get us back up. He got us back up. You can't argue.
No.
With his results. I mean, all right, he didn't have the greatest at the end of the season with West Brom. They went down, which, don't get me wrong,
I think that was entirely his fault. Yeah, exactly.
No, but I'm kind of, he hasn't got that, I've never been relegated, so I'm kind of glad that he's going to shut up about that. But listen, you know what you get from him, and it's the same with teams. As Harry says there, Sean Dyche is a master. Dyche is a master at what he does. He's right in the same way that David Moyes. You could say the same thing with David Moyes. He goes to a club that shouldn't be doing what they're doing. He did it for Everton. He did it for us.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. He's doing it for us.
Well, he's done it for us twice.
Well, yeah, he's actually gone one step further this time. Let's not mess around.
Yeah.
Because of we're really pushing the boat now to where we're going with it, and you know what you're going to get from these managers. Sean Dyche, he sets his team up to play football, and they're solid in the tackle. They will annoy the shit out of you. They will stop you from playing, and I like that. And again, spot on the ball. Spot on with that to a degree that I think if Cresswell starts tomorrow, our strongest part of winning will be from set pieces and free kicks because we can overload the box on that. It won't. I don't think we'll get a lot from open play. I think if we overload the box, then we're going to be in. For me, in a better position than what we will if we try to do that in open play. What's the first? What's the first nugget? Because that's the only class.
No. There's not nuggets. It's our last 10 matches again.
Oh, it's 10. See, I can't see now.
Do you want a little? This is a little bonus nugget for all you people out there, and this isn't on the slides that I prepared. Do you know what connects Wolverhampton Wanderers, Preston North End, Sheffield United, Portsmouth, and Burnley? Don't Google it. Don't Google it.
I'm not Googling it. Anyone in the chat know, because this is gazumped me.
Yeah.
Because he said a lot of
Burnley,
football
Wolves,
fans there.
Preston, Sheffield United, Portsmouth. They've got something in common. And if anyone gets this, you've Googled it. Either that or you were a fan of one of those clubs.
Go on.
They are the only sides to have won all 4 professional divisions of English football.
That have won in all
No,
4.
they have won all 4. So tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 of English football. Those 5 teams have won the
equivalent
top,
of
the champions of those
Yeah.
individual divisions. Yeah.
I never knew that. So
There you go.
I'm guessing you're talking when it was the old Division 1.
Oh yeah, I mean,
No.
this is obviously not. I mean, none of them teams have
Not
won the
since
Premier League.
That's why I was
so,
like, what?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
I mean, listen, that
Burnley
makes
won it in 60, 61, I think it was, or 59, 60. They won the first division, and they actually got to I think it was the quarterfinals of the European Cup in 60, 61.
Not bad.
So there you go. Little bit of useless trivia for you if any of you guys are interested. But that there is our head-to-head with Burnley over the last 10. I don't think it looks terrible. I mean, there's a couple of defeats in there, but there's a couple of wins.
It's that run of 3 there where we didn't even score against them.
Yeah.
After the 4-2, after the 4-2 win, that's a bit of a kick in the teeth there, not to have scored in 3 games against them. And a couple of heavy defeats as well. The 2 3-0 defeats are quite painful to look at. You will, Cyber.
Well, that one in 2018, if I remember rightly, that was when there was all the shenanigans going on below the director's box, and there was pitch invasions and all that malarkey
was
going
the one
on.
where he grabbed him and
Mark Noble chucked. Yeah.
I'll make him right.
There's some people that still have a problem with Mark Noble over that. I've actually seen people putting that out there, but
if you set foot into the field of play, regardless, somewhere where you shouldn't be,
yep,
no. And it's the same as what was the one when Jack Grealish, when he was punched from behind by the Birmingham fan. If I'd been on the Villa team that day, I mean, if that fella tripped over in front of me, he might have ended up with a stab mark on the side of his head, because I wouldn't have thought twice about stabbing on his face. Because you listen, that's not where you're meant to be. You're meant to be sitting in the stands. Fucking stay there. I understand the frustration, and listen, I get that some things came out of that Burnley protest, but you shouldn't have been on the pitch. And Mark Noble was well within his rights to do what Mark Noble did. It's the same in the same way that if Eric Dyer had decided, someone had decided to punch him straight in the face when he decided to set foot in the stands that day, when he walked up the stands to argue with the fans, he shouldn't be there. That's not his place to be. Get back in the yard, in the changing rooms, or back between them 4 white lines.
Yeah.
That's my feelings on it. I get other people are going to have their own opinions and their own feelings on it, and that's fine. I'm not gonna judge them for it. But that's where I'm at on it. And listen, something good did come out of that Burnley 3-0 defeat. Let's not mess around.
Yeah. There was. It was. I think when you look back, that was the catalyst for us to change tack and obviously pull away from the danger zone that we were getting sucked into at that time. So good came out of bad.
And then we spent some money in the summer as well, if I remember rightly, didn't we? So there was some signings that were made there. But again, I mean, listen, we can go, because we're away tomorrow, aren't we? It's up there. So I feel, listen, I don't care whether we win 4-0, 5-0, 1-0. I don't care whether it's flashy, amazing, the best football I've ever seen, or if it's a scrappy 1-0, very windy, very wet, skids up off the surface, bounce over the keeper's head off of a goal kick from Fabianski. As long as we get the job done tomorrow, I honestly don't care how it goes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with that. I mean, I'd like it to be champagne football. I'd like it to be a comprehensive victory on the score sheet. But if it's a grinding out win, so be it. If we get 3 points, I couldn't care less. So, I mean, just looking at that comment there from Harry, he has, and I suspect he won't play tomorrow. As I said in the video, the 2 question marks are over Ben Mee and Maxwell Cornet. And I've just got a sneaking suspicion that looking at the fact that Watford is their game on Wednesday, that I've got a funny feeling that he might hold those 2 in reserve and go balls deep with it on Wednesday when it's essentially a relegation 6-pointer. There's more value in winning that fixture than there is in beating us. Yes, it would be 3 points, exactly the same. Yes, it would be a great confidence booster to beat the team that currently occupy the 4th place in the Premier League. But in terms of value, in not just gaining 3 points, but stopping a direct opponent from getting 3 points, that is much more valuable, I feel. So that's why I think that, as I say, the team that I put on earlier is what I believe he'll keep Cornet and me out of the frying pan tomorrow and set them out on Wednesday, I believe.
Looking at the table, Gatesy, we do need a win tomorrow, because we now have United level on points with us and on our arse. So a win is needed tomorrow. And again, Tottenham after tomorrow will have 2 games in hand on us. So, we can go 5 points in front of them. I know they're having a bit of a torrid time with COVID and everything else. And I don't even know whether they're going to be able to play their game midweek.
No. I mean, obviously there was that thing that happened with the Rennes game, and that was a really weird one, didn't you find? Because it was like Tottenham put out the communication first off saying game's off, and then Rennes were turning around and going, "Was first we've bloody heard." And then this was the weird thing, because I'm sure I saw something come out that initially suggested that the game had been postponed and that the fixture had to be played by New Year's Eve. But then there was that one that came out today that said UEFA said, it ain't being rescheduled, and it's now going to their disciplinary committee. So the only outcome that must happen, as far as I'm concerned, the tie gets awarded to Rennes. Rennes had already won the group, so that doesn't change that. But what it will mean is that Spurs are now out of the Conference League. And whilst, and I said this on a message, a WhatsApp group that I think you're in, aren't you, Duke? And I said that whilst I think that's quite amusing as a West Ham fan, there's another angle that I would actually have preferred Tottenham to stay in that competition for as long as possible, to essentially sap their legs, tie them up a little bit. And don't get me wrong, and I said this with my wife, who is a Spurs fan, next to me, and I said to her, I said, as a West Ham fan, I want Tottenham to have as many games as possible, get to the final and lose. But obviously, and I said to her, I said, as your husband, I'd like you to be successful for you. But take that angle out of it, take that aspect out of it. As a West Ham fan now, I don't want any success for Tottenham. Like I say,
exactly.
Yeah, I like I say, I would like Tottenham to have got to the Conference League final, because it's not a competition we're in, so it doesn't affect us. Get to the final and lose. Obviously, I want them to get turned over on the 22nd. I want them to get turned over when we play them. I want to finish above them in the Premier League. And I'd quite like to get both us and Tottenham to the FA Cup final, and we beat them in that. So,
listen, chances are we're going to finish above them.
She's saying I'm being greedy, which is true. True, actually.
Chances are we're going to finish above them in the league. For me, I just think we're going to be stronger. So they're out. UEFA have confirmed it. Okay, I didn't even know that.
Fair enough.
That's good.
Well, in answer to his earlier question, would you go for Ben Mee?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
What about Tarkowski? Would you still go for him?
No. I mean, if you watched for those in the chat, if any of them have watched our videos that we've done on targets. I really do think Ginter and Stark will be the two.
And what about Zakari? I'm telling you now, Moisey watches this channel, Duke. He's getting your tips. Because it just seems funny that you mention him. I'd not heard Dennis Zakaria mentioned anywhere in connection with West Ham, anywhere, until it came out of your lips. Now, it may be that someone else has uttered it, but I've not heard it. You were the first one that I'd heard said, Dennis Zakaria, I would like to see at West Ham. 2 weeks later, West Ham have been linked with Dennis Zakaria, and I'm sitting there going, huh?
Yeah, see, it just shows I know Bundesliga, mate. That's all it is. I know the Bundesliga. What are you? Just before we go on, just before we go on, and you guys in the chat, this chair is shocking. It's making a lot of noise. You guys in the chat now, Peter. I think you set your stall out by saying Ben Mee is 32 and wouldn't go near him. There was a link between us and a certain Hazard over the last 48, 72 hours. And it doesn't seem to be going away, Gatesy, because apparently we've bid £21 million and they've rejected it. Now, I don't know what to make of that bid. I don't know what to, I don't know how to take that bid. But let's say we have.
Yep.
Let the dog out. Let's say we have. Let's say that Moyes is interested. What's your take on it,
Titch? My take on it is if Moyes is interested in him, then my thoughts are irrelevant to a degree. I've got to put my trust in the manager because thus far there is very little that he has got wrong. Yeah. No manager is perfect. Guardiola makes mistakes. Mourinho makes mistakes. Klopp makes mistakes. Alex Ferguson made mistakes in his time. You know, I remember Alex Ferguson. Do you remember him signing Kleberson?
Yeah.
And he got man of the match in the 2002 World Cup final, Brazil versus Germany. And he turned up in Manchester and he was absolute toilet. Eric Jemba. So even the great managers can sign duds. So it's possible that Hazard could come in and I could be proved completely wrong. But I think on balance, you'd have to say he's got more right than he's got wrong. So if he brought him in, I'd have to go, okay, let's wait and see. Would he be a player that ideally I would like to get through the door? Probably not. I think that the Eden Hazard of Chelsea days is probably well gone. He's had a few injuries as well as other issues and all the rest of it. So, no, I wouldn't want to actively sign him. But like I say, if Moyes is absolutely adamant, this is the guy that I want, and I suppose he can play as a false nine. So whether that's his thinking, do I think what? Sorry.
Do you think he fits his work rate, his effort?
No, I don't.
That's my concern.
No, I don't. But if Moyes, like I say, if this is a Moyes signing, and you have to think that anyone walks through the door has to have his approval, one way, shape, or form, then you know, I'd have to sort of go, okay, let's see how he goes. But I mean, he's not going to be on 416k a week, which is what his reputed wages are.
Half of that, is he?
No, I mean, the only way that I can see that this happens, he's got 2.5 years left on his Real Madrid deal. And I think that if my maths is correct, it works out to about 22 million roughly per season. The only way that he comes to West Ham is if Real Madrid turn around and say, we're going to pay a significant percentage of the remainder of his contract, and we then take the balance on. That's the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah, I can't. It's just like I say, just as while we were there, it was just something that obviously cropped up. I'm in two minds, much like you. If I thought the days were gone where we were going to be looking at signing the older statesman. You know, Chris, never mind. I think him joining. I think him joining for them would be for the wrong reasons. Loan to buy, if anything, no obligation. I want to see him prove himself. If
Yeah,
I
but
don't
they
see the
want
hunger,
they want it. What the
they want
story
him
I
gone,
heard
don't they?
was they're prepared to. Well, I say they're prepared. I mean, the original story said they would be prepared to let him go in January for £21 million on an initial loan with an obligation to buy, or 25.5 million in the summer. But apparently
A
they've
lot of
rejected
money.
21 million.
Yeah,
So
because I think we tried to buy him rather than loan him.
I don't think
for
Harry
21
wants
million.
him. Don't think Harry.
I think the cat
Me
will let
neither.
us away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, listen. Unless he can come in like Peachy said there. Peachy said there. Bring him in. Let him prove himself. If it don't work, push him off again. You know, it's quite simple, really.
Mm.
And
Wow.
Moyes and the Poison Dwarf and Father Christmas are quite. I was a sponge today, Peter. Took it all in. I think Poison Dwarf and Father Christmas are quite good at with the loans, with the obligations or no obligations. So we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see what
Yeah,
happens.
but how often do they
January.
deal with a team like Real Madrid?
Well,
Different rules
they
apply
tried to
with
deal
them.
with the team. They tried to deal with the team out of Portugal, wasn't it? And they called him the Palm Baron, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
they called him the Palm Barons or the Dildo Twins or something along the lines of. And that. No, he's filming. He's filming, Chris, from the studio where they're going to be doing the draw for the next round of the cup. Oh wait,
Yeah.
did you not know?
In my
I'm
dreams.
going to be a
In
bastard
my
about that.
dreams.
Sorry, Chris. No, listen. Unfortunately, you crashed out. Napoli were the better side in your game the other night. I watched it, and just don't think that you were at the races, mate. Unfortunately, I think you were 2-0 down after about 16, 17 minutes. Was it something stupid like that?
As an outsider looking in, Duke, and this is just me.
You did say
thinking
congrats.
out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. He did. But I'm just sort of thinking out loud here. Has the talk that happened when Ole was getting close to the sack at United and then did get the sack, and there was rumours that Brendan was in the frame, I wonder how much that's affected things at Leicester. I don't know.
I think Rodgers may well have had his head turned slightly. I mean, let's not lie. As we were talking earlier the other day, Rob, weren't we?
Yeah.
About Barcelona. They're still a prestige team. They're
Yeah.
just not where they once were, and it's the same with United. It's the same with United right now. You know, United are still a prestige club. Let's not in any way, shape, or form forget that they are one of the more successful teams that are in the world, in Europe, in the country.
Mm.
So they are still a massive prestige club. So if you're a manager of, no disrespect, Leicester, Everton, when Moyes was at Everton the first, surely
Well, even
you've got to, you're going to have your head turned, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're gonna if a club of that prestige is going to come in and be interested in you, you're gonna be having thoughts. And I think maybe that might be the situation now.
Certainly wouldn't have helped.
And
I take what Chris says about third season syndrome, and that very well might be a part of it. But I think same as you that it can't have been helpful for the team to have their manager linked with a club of the magnitude of Manchester United. And again, no disrespect to Leicester, but Leicester, Manchester United, I know on the football pitch right now, you could say they're comparable, but in terms of their history, in terms of their financial firepower, there is no comparison. So I could completely understand Brendan Rodgers, even as a former
Yeah.
Liverpool manager, for a split second, maybe going, oh, do you know what I mean?
He doesn't have any kind of links with Liverpool outside of being their manager. It's not like he's a player there or he's a supporter or anything else.
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, Chris. Take care, buddy.
Bless
See
you.
you soon. Thank you. Give me a nugget, Casey. Give me a nugget.
Okay, since you asked me so nicely,
Come on,
here's your
I'm
first
hungry.
one. Okay, Burnley. There's a bumper crop here actually.
There
Burnley
was.
Burnley have won 4 of their last 7 league games against us, losing 3, which is as many as they had in their previous 22 against us. They did lose both Premier League meetings with us last season, however. Reasons to be cheerful. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was the one at Turf Moor was towards the back end of last season, wasn't it? And that was when Ben Rama had a really good game, didn't he?
That was when Lanzini played the holding role.
He played CDM, yeah.
And he was fantastic in that. That's the listen. Everyone bangs on about the Ben Rama goal because that's where he broke his duck, wasn't it?
That was the Brighton game.
No, that
it?
was the Brighton game that he broke his duck. This is the one
yeah.
where he scored one assist. Oh, I know what game you're talking about. Yeah, that game.
Yeah, I thought you'd twig.
That one. I remember it more. I'm not doing this to be facetious or be a dick. I actually remember it more for Lanzini standing out at CDM than I do Ben Rama assisting one and scoring one.
No, he didn't assist one and score one because he didn't score until the Brighton game.
Oh no, he nearly scored because he pinged that one past the far post, didn't he? Yeah. That one.
You then had a slight disagreement with someone. I say a slight disagreement. I think that might be.
Well, the stream for that is no longer available on Forge from Home YouTube channel. Let's put it that way.
I can still see it.
Yeah, I can still see it, and we can show it to people if we share the link directly. But you cannot find it on the YouTube channel. The first 15 minutes are the best thing I've ever done.
You've got to be able to laugh at yourself. If you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anyone else.
I was fucking awful at the end during that video, and I don't pretend not to be. And I'm quite ashamed.
We can laugh about it now.
Considering it's nearly a year old, it's actually quite amusing, really.
Do you want the next one?
Yeah, please do. Let's get rid of this.
Okay. We have never kept a clean sheet in 7 away Premier League games against Burnley. Only at Middlesbrough with 12 have we played more games in the Premier League while conceding in each match. So I think if previous history is to go by, this is probably going to be Chris Wood scoring a goal.
Please don't.
Oh, you know he's going to.
Listen, he's our new Glenn Murray, isn't he?
Oh, hang on.
I had myself and Andy Miles had a live slanging match with a certain Ben Rama fan.
Yeah. There was a disagreement. Let's put it like that.
Disagreement, Gacy. If we'd been in the same room, there was only going to be one of us walking out, I think.
Oh dear. It was quite amusing. I say at the time it was like a bit
intense.
Sort of oh no.
It was very intense.
Now I can laugh.
Very
there you
intense.
Go. Let's get on to the next nugget. Burnley have scored 6 goals in their last 2 home Premier League games. 3-1 versus Brentford, 3-3 versus Crystal Palace, which is as many as in their previous 11 at Turf Moor. The Clarets haven't scored 3+ goals in 3 consecutive home top-flight matches since September 1967, one of which was a 3-3 draw with us.
Do you see us conceding 3 tomorrow?
No.
You don't?
No, I see us conceding 1. Don't see us conceding 3.
No.
Possibly could concede 2. Maybe. But we ain't conceding 3.
No. I think we'll be all right. I think I've got it down in my mind. I will show you.
Next one.
Yeah. Keep them coming, Sam. I like it. You got a
We
bumper
have
crop.
lost our last 2 away Premier League games, last losing more consecutively in a run of 7 between December 2019 and June 2020. The bad old days.
It's only a year ago, Rob. Let's. Well, yeah, just over a year ago. So yeah. Yeah, I've got to agree with Tix there, mate. They are punching. They are punching a hell of a lot, aren't they? That they're
Bit like Bournemouth, really, isn't it? Or
yeah,
Wigan when they were in the Premier League.
Newcastle at the minute, and I know they're a big fan base club, but they're not having the time of it at the minute, are they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I'd say Newcastle are bigger than Wigan, Bournemouth, and well,
Yeah, and listen, as a fan base of a club, yes, but when you consider that for that fan base with what they don't they haven't done anything with their stature. I know they might do now, but then that's going to be oil money, isn't it, or
yeah,
country money? Let's not dick around. It's money that's meant to be given to the population of their country, which is now going to go to Newcastle to win the league somewhere, rather than building houses for the homeless back in South East.
yeah. I just hope, because I think that what Newcastle United fans are going to have to brace themselves for is, for an awful lot of time now, people have looked at Newcastle United and said they're a sleeping giant. They're too big to have not won anything since I think it was 1950 something, that the last time they won a domestic trophy, and I think they won the Fairs Cup in 1969 or something like that.
Yeah.
So for a club of that size, I mean, think about it, they're a one club city, or one city club, whichever way round it is, and they've not done anything for that amount of time. And I think they had an awful lot of goodwill, an awful lot of sympathy from neutral fans for that fact. That's now gone.
Yes,
they need to prepare themselves for going from being a team that has a lot of respect, a lot of goodwill in the world, to now probably being the most hated club out there.
I've like my granddad on my mum's side was born in Newcastle. My mum's side of the family are all big Newcastle fans, and I always looked out for them. Even I will continue to do so. We'll continue to look out for the scores. I remember sitting when my mum and granddad were still with us, sitting at their house in Northumberland Heath, and it was a Saturday afternoon, and Newcastle won the league, and West Ham had finished second, which was the old Division 2.
Oh, that was under Kevin Keegan.
Yeah, back in the 90s. I think we only
92,
conceded
93.
I think we only conceded. I think it was something like 42 goals in 46 games. I think it was one of Ludo's seasons. I think it was a Ludo season, and I remember West Ham winning a Newcastle drawing, and West Ham ended up at that point, I think it was about a point or two behind them in the league. I was laughing, cheering, come on West Ham, and my granddad, with absolutely no look on his face, just this whole deadpan, looked at me, he went, "Shut up, we're still top," and that was it. Like
he didn't look at you and go, "We are fucking massive."
No, and I can tell you now, he'd hate what the club had become under my action. He would have hated it. Yeah, he was a very big Newcastle fan, and he would have hated. I know my uncles and my cousins that are Newcastle fans. My cousin Matt, who born in Australia, living back in Australia, was actually at the Gabba for the games. He it's hurt him over the years that they're this bumbling giant, for want of a better word, at the moment. And like you say, problem is, I will always look out for them. I will always have a respect for them because obviously they are my family, where my family are from. Um, but good lad, he was. You're right. I saw the
Saw the
pictures that he
photos.
put.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will always continue to look out for him, Rob. But
Yeah.
there are going to be others, like some of the people that are on our channel. You know, some people in the chat today, some people, that will look at them and go, bastards, because of the money that's now
Yeah.
coming in. In the same way that when Abramovich started doing what Abramovich did at Chelsea.
Hmm.
Because the thing is, I have a lot more respect for City because City didn't go out and try and buy everyone all at once. They built a side, a bit like United over years built sides. They didn't go out and buy every single player all at once. Don't get me wrong, I still remember that massive deadline day signing when they signed Robinho. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was fantastic. What a transfer deadline day that was. This signing comes out of absolute left field. But they didn't go out and buy, everyone all at once like Chelsea did. Chelsea, for me, went out and bought the best players from every team in the Premier League. So
Hmm.
we lost traction. They went out, they bought Scott Parker from Charlton. Charlton didn't really have anyone else. He was carrying that Charlton team at the time. They went out
Hmm.
and they bought Steve Sidwell from Reading. Steve Sidwell was the Scott Parker of the Reading side. They went out,
Yeah.
they came out, they spent 12 million on Joe Cole. They spent 18 million on Damien Duff. That one still gives me absolute palpitations that he went for £6 million less than Damien
Drogba.
Duff. But yeah, they went out and they bought the best players from each of the Premier League sides, so we lost traction, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they could go on and do it. Whereas City did it bit by bit. They built over seasons. They didn't just go, "Here's £700 million, let's go do." They were clever. And I just
Yeah.
think
The
that
only thing I would
The way
say though,
Newcastle are talking is that they're going to go and they're going to do a Chelsea. They're going to replace the entire team, at the first opportunity that they've got.
yeah, the only counterpoint that I would put to that, the difference between City and Chelsea when the money came in, is that Chelsea were already a team that had qualified for Champions League football. Their base, if you will, their foundations were a lot stronger
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
than Man City's were. So Man City had more work to do in that
Yeah,
regard. Do you know what I mean?
okay.
They were not a Champions League team when the Saudis rocked up at the Etihad or whatever the stadium was called at the time. I can't remember. Was it just called the City of Manchester Stadium at the time?
Or
Because
the
obviously it
Commonwealth
wasn't.
Stadium or something like that, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I think it was colloquially called the Blue Camp from recollection.
Mm.
So there you go. Anyway, we've gone
Mm.
completely off topic.
We have. Yeah.
Jeez, let's get back to it, shall we? No side has dropped more points from a winning position in the Premier League this season than Burnley, with 14 points dropped, while we have won 9 points from behind so far this term, with only Everton earning more with 10. So we know that we're conceding a goal. We know that they're not scoring 3. We know that they drop points from behind more than anybody else, and that we've won points from behind. We're going 1-0 down and we're going to win 2-1, aren't we?
I was just saying that. Actually 2-1 was actually was actually going to be my prediction. So yeah, it's yeah. I mean that makes for some good reading for us. The fact
Yeah.
that we can actually, we were always one of the sides that we struggled to come back, didn't we, from being 1-0 down.
Yeah.
We were a side that used to struggle for that. We're not anymore,
No.
and that proves it.
No, we got a little bit more steel and determination about us,
Mm.
and that comes from the manager. Burnley have picked up just 1 win from their last 17. Yes, 1-7 Premier League games, 1 win, drawing 7 and losing 9, with the Clarets failing to score on 9 occasions in that run. In fact, 6 of their 14 goals scored over these 17 matches have come in their last 2 games at Turf Moor. Ouch. That's quite damning.
Yeah, but then we go back to the old West Ham. Hello, we rock
Yeah,
up, don't we? So, but again, it makes a good reading for us. Like you just said, we are a different side now.
yeah, yeah. And like I say, it's quite pleasing because, as you say, the old West Ham, like you say, come through, score a hat trick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
To a striker that's on a barren run. That in and like I
hasn't
say,
scored in 2 years.
that West Ham fan is still in there. Do you know what I mean? I still sort of look and go, oh yeah, this would be so West Ham for us to do. Da, 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 da. But it seems to happen an awful lot less frequently than it used
Yeah,
to, I have to say.
yeah.
But here we go. Only Liverpool with 23 have scored more second half goals in the
Bloody
Premier
hell.
League than us this season. We've scored 19, while only Norwich with 3 have netted fewer after half time than Burnley. So basically, if they ain't scored a goal in the first half, they're fucked.
I like the way you put it.
Well,
I like
I
it.
could try and dress it up and be all, polished and Gary Lineker about it, but let's call a spade a spade. If they don't score in the first half, they're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're a strong side in the second half. Again, I think that's something that Moyes has done. Moyes has brought that into us, that skill, that determination, that grit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I'm not saying that
It's
there are
after
any.
9.
I'm not saying that there are. Again, we're not on TV, so I don't advocate finding something.
What you mean, like illegal streams from? Is it
From,
Heathskull? I think I've heard of one called. Is it Heathskull?
yeah, I think there's one called He's Goal, I think, and
What was the
Footy
other
Pass
one?
was the other one.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But don't
I've
use
never
them.
heard of
Don't use.
them.
No.
I've never seen any. And of course, we at Falls from Iron wouldn't condone the use of these illegal streaming
Indeed.
services to watch West Ham United in a match that's not being broadcast in the United Kingdom.
How much chat have a Discord?
And again, we couldn't possibly point you in that direction, could we, Duke?
No, not at all. But they have a Discord.
Yes, they do, which I believe might point you in certain directions to help you.
I don't know what they've got.
Just
They've got a
saying.
load of little subfolders that you can.
They
that you
have.
can go to. I don't know what's on it, but
Me
yeah, there
neither.
are.
No, I'm completely innocent. I'll probably have to watch. I'll probably have to listen to it on my old crackly medium wave wireless.
Oh, you got a wireless.
A wireless. Well, that was what my granddad always used to call it. Never called it a radio. It was always a wireless.
Wireless, yeah.
Yeah. Why did they call it a wireless when there was a bloody wire out of the back of
Yeah.
it? For Christ's sake!
Yeah.
Like, it's not wireless. What
Well,
are you on about?
comes from the old. I think it comes from the old ones. I think where they used to have to wind them up to get the old kinetic energy inside it, and they used to run
The
from
old
them. I think that's.
Do you ever listen to Radio 2 with Ken Bruce?
No,
The old you never know, because he used to
no.
sort of like, I don't know if he still does.
I'm
With
about
his
30 years younger than you.
no, because well, I think he used to have on his Popmaster quiz. He used to one of his prizes used to be a wind up radio. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Wind up radio?
And they're handy.
Bloody
Like,
hell.
I mean, I don't go fishing, but I've bought things like that for my brother-in-law who goes fishing. He spends a lot. So yeah, you give him the old kinetic energy. Wind up, wind up, wind up, wind
Got
up.
it.
So yeah.
Makes sense. Right, have I got any more nuggets? Yeah, I have. Look at this. Burnley striker Chris Wood, here we go, has scored 7 goals in 8 Premier League games against us, more than he has against any other side. The New Zealander has scored in all 4 of his appearances against us at Turf Moor in the competition. So I'm guessing he's going to be short odds to be first goal scorer, isn't he?
Yeah, he winds me up. He's one of them. I know.
121 gigawatts.
So you'd like that. I remember last year when Andy Miles, friend of the channel, from West Ham Reunited, he mentioned about signing Chris Wood, didn't he? About Chris Wood
Yes.
being a good signing for us. I'd sign him just to stop him scoring against us, Ross. Same as I would have bought Glenn Murray just to stop him from
We'd
scoring against us.
have to sign Romelu Lukaku on that logic.
Listen, I wouldn't play him because he looked fat, lazy, and bored against us this week, and very
that
much
is true.
very much the same in midweek.
Yeah,
Very much the same.
He'll
not
come
midweek,
good. In answer to that question from Cyber,
yeah.
yes, I do.
I don't.
I
don't listen
actually,
to radio.
I've repaired Nick Ferrari's tumble dryer. There you go. Doesn't take us anywhere. But Nick Ferrari, he's a Leicester fan. He's a Leicester fan, and it would have been around about the time that they won the Premier League, and I repaired his tumble dryer. And he often says, if you listen to him on LBC, that he lives in Blackheath. He doesn't. He lives in Lewisham.
Hey, he's round the corner from me, where I was.
Round the corner from you. There you go. There you go. He might pop into your boozer one day. You never know.
Might have to see if we can get him round there.
Yeah. Put Leicester on the telly against West Ham. He'll be there like a shot.
I'll do a walk round one morning, Casey. When I finally get over there, I'll do a walk round from the pub.
Steve Allen, he's on earlier. He lives in Twickenham, apparently. Oh, okay, fair enough. Didn't know that. Have I got any more nuggets? I'm trying.
I think you had about 9, Casey.
I think this might be the last one.
Might be the last one.
Burnley's Maxwell Cornet, or Cornet if you prefer, has scored in his
the shop.
99, please, mate. Yeah, Maxwell Cornet has scored in his 2 home Premier League starts so far. No player has ever scored in their first 3 starts at Turf Moor for the Clarets in the competition. Long may that continue.
I'll say that's quite bad. I can't imagine there's been many strikers that have actually scored in consecutive home games. Now, Pete, I was actually looking at me and Gacy thinking that we look a bit like Simon Pegg and what's his name from Shaun of the Dead, Gacy?
Oh, is it Nick Frost?
Nick Frost. Do you want a Cornetto? Yeah, what do you want?
I love Cornettos, I've got to say.
They're called the Cornetto trilogy, aren't they? Because you've got Shaun of the Dead, you've got Hot Fuzz, and you've got World's End, which is the third one, which they actually say, do you want anything from the shop? Cornetto. In all 3 films. It's there in all 3 of them.
Bit like the character in the Richard Burton films that keeps popping up. Name escapes me. Begins with a B.
Richard Burton?
Gone. No. Richard Curtis. Richard Curtis films. Right. He has a character in it that's a little bit idiotic, but I can't remember his name. All I remember is it begins with a B. No, it's gone.
I still haven't.
Can't think. Anyway, is there another nugget, I ask myself? Oh, yeah, there is.
Last one.
That clearly wasn't the last one. I think this one might be. Get my teeth in. Manuel Lanzini. Remember him? He scored in his 2 goals in his last 3 Premier League appearances for us, which is as many as he had managed in his previous 57 in the competition. But what that probably doesn't tell you is the previous 57, it was probably playing a minute here, 2 minutes there.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I've got a lot of time for him. Because he stood out again last week, didn't he?
I thought
against
so.
Chelsea, his ball retention.
That is the last nugget.
I'd like to see him start again tomorrow. And you've got to think as well. A lot of the boys have had a week off.
Yep.
In fact, they've all had a week off.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from Fornell started, didn't he?
Fornell started and Ben Rama finished. So they split it, didn't they? One played the first half and one played the second.
See, so I'd say probably 10 of the 11 have had the full week off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Great. So I'd like to think that they should be fit and ready to go tomorrow.
I'm just looking at the poll. For anybody that's watching that isn't aware, we've got a poll running on this. Arthur Masuaku or Manny Longello at left back if Aaron Cresswell isn't available tomorrow. And at the minute, we've got 61% that are going with Arthur Masuaku.
Really?
Okay.
What's wrong with you people?
Listen, remember, opinions, they're like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Oh, look, someone else.
I did know that, Cyber. Yes, I did.
No. I listen, at left back, I start Manny. At left wing back, I start Arthur.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think Longello can defend better.
Yeah. Although, would Burnley be the ideal team for him to go against away?
Why not? And that's where I'm at, mate. Why not? He just he listen, just played a game against the Croatian champions.
Yeah.
So why would he? Would you say that in the grand scheme of things, the Croatian champions would be better than Burnley? Would Burnley win the Croatian league?
In answer to that one, Cyber, so's Frank Lampard Senior.
How'd you get experience?
Exactly. Only one way you're going to get experience. You've got to play.
Yep. I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys in the live chat, get your score predictions in, and we'll pick the bones out of it. So you're going 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, that was my fault. Even
Chris
before
Wood
I
scoring.
I think I had a nightmare last night that he did. Yeah.
But we come from behind, because as I say, when I was doing the Nuggets and putting it together, and I sort of read them, and I sort of thought, well, they're not scoring 3, very likely, because history suggests they don't do it 3 consecutive games, which they've done. They've scored 3 goals in their previous 2 home games, and they haven't done that in 3 consecutive home league games in the top flight since '67. So historically, there's no reason for you to think that that's likely to happen. Yeah. They've dropped so many points away from winning positions this season. We've won points from losing positions this season. Yada, yada, yada. And Chris Wood always scores against us. So I just sort of sat back and I thought, if you sort of like feel that history repeats itself, we're going 2-1. We're going 1-0 down and we're probably winning it 2-1.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'd like to think that Antonio will break his shit run at the minute, and I think that that Bowen might bag one as well.
Oh,
you think,
what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? You filthy beast.
Little poo nuggets in your pants.
The old tag nuts and dangleberries.
Hot.
Listen, I'll have you know that my ring piece is gleaming. Do you know Epsom Derby? Oh. Listen, you don't escape that easily. You don't escape that easily. Oh, he's I can see him in the green room. He's throwing up into a bucket. You wuss. Epsom Derby. Yeah, I know Epsom, mate. I know Epsom. I used to work round Sutton, Banstead, all that sort of direction. So I know Epsom. Never been to the Epsom Derby, mind. Been to Ascot. Day out at the Ascot races. Did that before me twin boys were born. So that's 18 and a bit years ago now. I'll tell you what, I'm not into horse racing as such, but it's a good day out. Really good day out. He's gone 5-1. He always goes like 4-1, 5-1, doesn't he? But then he's put 2-1 with his head.
It's not about 7-0. Is normally what we get, or 36-0 is normally what we get.
Yeah, he's calmed down. I think what it is, he's probably had a bite to eat. He's probably sort of, chilled out, and he's quite mellow and whatever. Yeah, and he's nice and calm. So when he gets a bit excited, then it tends to ramp up a bit with Peach, doesn't it? You've noticed.
Hey, you say about getting excited. You notice who ain't been back on the chat recently?
Who?
Mia. She didn't come back, did she?
No, she didn't.
Very disappointed by that.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I went
Listen,
and
she
Googled
might.
her afterwards.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, some things that came up. I was like, oh my god,
What?
never seen that sort of thing before.
Oh.
My eyes, my sweet innocent
Oh.
brain, I can't comprehend.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I see what you mean. Yes. Got a question here from Cyber.
Mate, I wouldn't even know what they look like.
No, well, Ian Dale's bald. I don't think I've ever
I
seen Tom
I
Swarbrick.
think I might know. Hang on. Let me Google
Nick
them.
Ferrari's. How could I best describe him without being impolite? Fuller figured man.
I know Nick Ferrari. Oh, I know Ian. I think I know. Yeah, I know Ian Dow. I follow him on Twitter.
Oh, do you?
I follow him on Twitter actually, just because he's got the West Ham thing, and I followed everyone with a West Ham
Yeah. Why not?
handle, and his handle is actually Ian Dow with the crossed irons. Is his name on his username on Twitter. There was the other one, Tom
Swarbrick. Yeah. He occasionally stands in for Nick Ferrari in the morning, I've heard. On occasion.
Oh yeah, I've seen him on TV.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Zlatan the Lion. And as Titch says, he likes lions. I know you do, Titch. And you're a lion as well. Remember? No.
Oh.
What the reference is? Lions lead. Sheep follow.
They do.
And
a lion does not concern
Titch and I had a
itself.
conversation a couple of days ago, and Titch is a lion.
A lion does not concern itself with the opinions of sheep.
That's the one. And look at that. He's in his front room with his wife and kids all running around, and he's just gone full on Lenny the lion.
He's probably gone Barney the dinosaur. Let's not lie.
Could you just imagine Titch in a Barney the dinosaur get up? I'll tell you what, that I'd actually pay money to see that. Mind you, I'm still waiting for my hippo uniform. Remember that?
I'm still waiting for my hippo uniform. No, wait, what?
I hadn't
We're
forgotten.
working on it.
No. Okay. Okay. Dan, the Millwall YouTuber. You'll have to forgive me, Cyber, and I don't know about Duke, but I don't very often watch
YouTube
Millwall content. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I watch the content of the guys that we've collaborated with, as a courtesy, and sort of like to see what they're up to and all the rest of it. I guess because Millwall, and I'm not being disrespectful here. I'm not trying to be high and mighty, but we're not going to play them this season, so I've got no reason to collaborate with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I say I'm not trying to be sort of snobbish or anything like that, or try and talking down to anyone. I'm not being disrespectful, but why would I?
No.
So
you're right.
Sandown. Now, funny story about Sandown. My late grandfather, that was where he wanted his ashes scattered. On the finishing line at Sandown Racecourse. That was where he wanted it scattered. They haven't been scattered yet, and he died in 2001. 20 years ago he left us, bless him. His ashes are still with my nan, bless her. So yeah. He's in a little, not an urn, but like a box on the windowsill.
Yeah.
When I go and see me nan, give him a little on the lid, you know.
I do the same with
miss him every day.
Headstone. Oh yeah, of course. I do that with the headstones at the cemetery. Me nan and my granddad's. Yeah, I do the same thing, mate.
Yeah. Pete says he's going to be beat them by 2 goals. That
I like it. I
don't think we're keeping a clean sheet, so I'd probably go 3-1 with that one, Pete. 3-1, maybe 4-2. I don't see them scoring 3. I really don't. 2's a possibility. 1's a racing. They're going to score. Chris Wood is going to score.
Yeah,
Chris Wood.
possible.
If you're talking about my granddad, his name's the same as mine. Funnily enough, same as my dad as well.
Oh, really?
Yep. 3 consecutive generations of Robert Gateses. And of course, when my wife got pregnant the first time and it was twins, we didn't know it was going to be 2 boys. We found out when they popped out, but a load of people were saying, "Oh, if one of them's a boy, you've got to call it Robert." I'm like, "Where is, I don't have to do anything actually."
Well, you say that we've gone. So my dad had my granddad's first name as his middle name. My middle name is my dad's first name, and Logan's middle name is Duke. So I'm kind of hoping that as this progresses, Logan will have his firstborn son will be his middle name would be Logan. So yeah, that'd be quite cool. I hope that continues.
Did you know that there is a Scottish tradition where you get named after your mother's maiden name as one of your middle names?
Really?
Yep. And that explains why the former Arsenal goalkeeper, Bob Wilson, Robert, to give him his name on his birth certificate, has the middle name Primrose.
Oh, really?
Robert Primrose Wilson, and it's because his mother's maiden name was Primrose. It's a Scottish tradition, apparently. And I've seen it actually a few times where I'm looking at names of people that are of Scottish heritage, first generation, second generation, whatever, and you look at their middle name. I think Alex Ferguson, I think his middle name is something like Campbell or something like. If I tell you what, hang on, I've got Wikipedia up. Hang on, I'm sure he's got a middle name. I'm sure it's something like Campbell.
For those of you in the chat, I've got a question for you. What's James Corden's middle name?
Alexander Chapman Ferguson. I think it was Walter Smith. That was Walter Smith, Walter Ferguson Smith, or hang on.
Yeah, those of you in the chat.
Walter Ferguson Smith. I say it's a Scottish tradition.
Cyber's in. Didn't even give me a chance to say it a second time. James Kimberly Corden.
Ah, that's probably where it comes from. Then it's probably his parents are Scottish. So, mother's maiden name is Moore. So if you were from Scotland,
your middle
name ain't bad.
Oh, mate, just quickly off topic and before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
What time's the lights for tomorrow's Grand Prix?
Oh, because Verstappen's on pole, isn't he?
Verstappen's on pole, and he's obviously.
Who reckons that Verstappen's just going to take him out like Schumacher did with Damon Hill all those years ago?
Yeah, but they ain't going to do either of them any favours because they're both on the same points.
Verstappen's got 8 wins to Hamilton's 7, so he would win it.
Oh, he'd win it from the...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So if Verstappen takes Hamilton out, accidentally, he wins the title.
Is it Abu Dhabi? No, is it Abu Dhabi tomorrow? Yeah.
I thought it was Saudi Arabia, or was that last week?
Saudi Arabia was last week.
Was it?
Yeah, Abu Dhabi tomorrow, 1 o'clock start. I will definitely have that on. I watched last week's. I watched the Saudi Arabian last week, and that was banging. That was absolutely banging last week.
Lots of words I can think of that rhyme with more. One of them I couldn't possibly say on here. Could be children watching. Lady of the Night. It was just the first thing that popped into my head. I don't know why. I I lead a very sheltered life. There you go.
Oh, Peaches just scared me.
Has he? He's just put his real name up. There you go.
I don't like it. Stop it. It's Peach. Leave it alone. Same with you, Cyber.
Yeah. Nobody calls him Matthew. Oh,
So,
only person that probably calls him Matthew is probably his mum when he's getting told off.
Or Barney when he gets told off. Yeah, it's
Barney
the same
might.
as you. It's the same as you, Rob. Like when I call you Rob every now and again, I normally call you Casey. When I'm talking to other people about you, I call you Casey. When I hear someone else call you Rob, I go, huh? Who?
You get a bit
Rob,
confused, don't you?
Gatesy, yeah.
Yeah. My parents didn't sort of like call me Gatesy Gates. I do have a real Christian name, but it doesn't bother me. Sort of, listen, if you call me Rob, if you call me something that's reasonably polite, there's a chance that I'm going to answer to it.
I mean, listen, don't even have to be polite with me. I'll answer anyway.
Yeah, I remember a few times at the ball you getting called some phrases that I wouldn't have answered to myself. But
I mean, listen, I'm going to be a West Ham fan in Lewisham.
That could go really badly.
I'm going to be called a lot worse.
Are you going to sort of like put any West Ham stuff?
Damn right. My first day there, mate. I've got a West Ham. Look, this is going up behind the bar.
How about what I am, Titch? Poor.
Now that's going up behind the bar.
Oh, mate.
The first day I get there, that's going up behind the bar.
Yeah, and your second day, you're going to be sort of like having sort of like hoarding put up where you've had a brick put through your window.
Yeah, that's going up behind the bar. I'm thinking I might get another one of these made up.
All right.
And have that behind the bar as well.
I'll tell you what, I say nobody, very, very, very rare that someone has ever called me Bobby. Bobby was how a lot of other people referred to my late grandfather.
Oh, really?
Bobby or Bob. Yeah.
I suppose that was the thing, without being disrespectful, but that was more of a thing back then, wasn't it? That Robert became Bobby. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's taken over a new boozer in Lewisham, Titch. Enemy territory.
So, where is it? There it is.
Could go really bad.
There it is. That's where I'm going.
Sorry.
Oh, he's done.
Sorry.
That's where I'm going. That's the address of the new gaff. And we've deleted the picture of the new gaff, Rob. I deleted the picture of the new gaff.
You plonker, Rodney.
Yeah.
Do you want me to get it up on Google?
That's all right. If I just do this, that's all right. Right. If I do that and then go. That's what I'm going to. Let's just get rid of the...
Right on the corner of Lehigh Road and Belmont Hill, if you know Lewisham, guys.
It is indeed. And even if you see just off the corner of the black, you've got that cream building there. That's also a little bit of the pub as well. So I think the first window there, just off of that door to the left, and by Gates' handle there. I think that window there at the bottom is his toilets, and then upstairs I think is an old kitchen. I think we have access to. So yeah, it'd be interesting to have a look and see what that is. But I start there officially, boys and girls, on the 20th of December. I take the keys for that on the 20th of December. So, yeah.
And you can start moving
over the course of next week.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Cyber, we're not. I'm just going to jump my head there. Cyber, we're not doing food. Yes, sorry, go on. We're not doing food, Cyber. We are a drink-only pub. So we are a proper old-fashioned
crisps.
Boozer.
Crisps,
yeah,
nuts,
crisps, nuts,
pork scratchings. And you might be getting pie mash and liquor, so you were talking about.
Well, yeah, talking to the lady that's been training me, runs the Chatterton Arms in Bromley. He has a thing with a local cafe where they want to bring stuff in. They also absolutely blew me away today, Rob. I was standing there watching the football scores. I finished at 3, sitting there watching the football scores, and I look up and walking around the pub with his big old basket full of polystyrene trays was the old fish man. walking around selling the old
brilliant.
prawns, jelly deals and crab meat and all the rest of it.
Beautiful.
And it just
Great
took me
old
back to
tradition,
being,
that.
yeah, it took me back to being when my mum and dad had the working men's club, the trade club's members only jobby, because we used to have that on a Saturday and Sunday as well. So I was like, you know what, I might talk to Paul and Cindy from Cox Edge Fish and Chip Shop next
Yeah.
door to the Ball, and see if at any point, maybe on a Sunday, once they close up shop here at 12, if they want to come down and sell some fish around the pub on a
Yeah.
Sunday over at Lewisham. So yeah.
Why not?
We're going to be a lot cheaper, Cyber. The pub is a lot cheaper.
Yes. Yes. Do you know what the funny thing is? The missus turned around whilst we was up the West End. She turned around and said to me, because obviously, as you know, I work around that area quite regularly. And she turned around and said, "Oh, I suppose I know where you're going to be going on a Friday evening." And I turned around and I said, "Well, for one thing, parking around there is a bit of a bastard. And I'm going to have my works van. What, you think I'm going to get tanked up? And then I'm going to either drive home or leave the van in the middle of Lewisham overnight?"
It's not that bad. It's not as bad as it used to be. It's certainly a lot better than it used to be around there.
That's what they told you.
It is. Behave yourself.
Fair enough. You'll find out. Oh no! Listen, I'll tell you what. I wouldn't. No, I listen. What, 24 years we've been together now? It's not really much point now, is there? Yeah. Just stuck with her now, aren't I? And she's stuck with me. So, and she's a good cook. I'll give her that. She's a good cook. Next to the clock tower.
No, it's a bit further
not
round.
far. Yeah, it's not far.
Round. Yeah.
Yeah. It's near
Bowling
station. Alley.
Yeah, bang opposite the bowling alley, next around the corner from the police station.
That's
literally like 30 seconds around the corner from the police station.
Yeah. Well, I certainly will be popping in there at some point, but I will be leaving my mode of transport behind. My mode of transport will be an Oyster card on that evening.
Not a bad thing, mate.
Yeah. A stagger home. I'm sure I'll find my way. Maybe wake up in somewhere that sort of like sounds vaguely similar to Dartford. I'll probably wake up and be in Deptford, knowing my luck.
Go the wrong way on the train.
Find myself sort of like snuggled up to some vagrant sort of, smelling of sort of like really strong sort of alcohol and piss.
And what would they be smelling of?
Really cheeky. Sainsbury's or Tesco? Is there a Sainsbury's? There isn't, is there?
Yeah, no, there is. That's more down the high street side. You're going the wrong way. Come back towards the train station.
Yeah, I know you got the big Tesco's in as you sort of like head up towards Greenwich, haven't you? From Lewisham. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, should we bugger off, old chap? It's getting past our bedtime, isn't it? We've been rattling on for a while.
Well, I was up. I had to be at Bromley this morning, so I was up at like 7 o'clock this morning because I was like I had the kids. Joe was out for last night, so I had the kids. So I had to make sure they were both up. The little one watered and fed before I left this morning. I think I walked out of here just after. Or just before 9:30, I think I walked out of here this morning to get to Bromley, and that was an absolute pig. I found out, Gates, we were talking about Evergreen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's got 6 platforms. And 2 are hidden around two of them are hidden around the back of the main entranceway to the station.
Really?
Yeah, so I got off on yesterday, I got off at platform 1, walked over to platforms 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Didn't see that there was 5 and 6 the other side of the main entrance building.
Okay.
So that'd be my fault for not looking or not knowing. But
so it is the same station, technically.
Yeah, but 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2 are where the trains from, Gravesend and Crayford, Dartford, that sort of way they go. Normal time, cyber 11 to 11. It's just I didn't go over another platform. Otherwise, I would have found that would have been the train home, rather than wait. Taking me another 40 minutes to get home because I had to go back into Central. Well, no, it was only about another half hour. I had to go back up to London Bridge. But the bonus of going back to London Bridge was I got myself a couple of Greg's. I got a Greg's sausage roll, a Greg's spaghetti, and a Greg's chicken bake.
Not one of them vegan sausage rolls, was it?
No, screw that, normal one.
Actually, I've got a confession. I did once try, just purely out of curiosity, I did try a vegan sausage roll.
No, you didn't. You tried a vegan roll and a vegan sausage roll.
All right,
Sausage
okay.
relates to sausage meat. No.
Vegan sausage type roll. Is that better?
Vegan roll.
Vegan sausage-ish roll. I did actually try it. It weren't bad. Listen, if you offered me the choice between a vegan sausage-ish roll and a sausage roll all day long and twice on a Sunday. But any port in a storm, if you're hungry.
So what you're saying is you'd quite happily take a vegan sausage roll?
No, and I'll tell you how I can say that without, like I say, if there was a vegan sausage roll and a sausage roll, right? When we got to Charing Cross Station today, now me being the generous, kind-hearted, romantic husband that I am,
I can't hear her laughing, so she's obviously not in the room.
the door's shut, she can't hear me. I treated my good lady wife to a meal fit for a queen.
Have you had Smith's meal deal?
No, I got her a Cornish pasty. Listen, it's got your meat, it's got your vegetables, it's a warm, filling, hearty meal. Don't complain. Yeah?
You gave her meat
and I
and
could
veg.
have got her the vegan one. The vegan one was sitting there looking sad and pathetic. I noticed it was an awful lot cheaper than the proper Cornish pasty. Yeah.
Was it an actual Cornish pasty?
I still pushed the boat out and got her I got her the proper McCoy one. Here's a useless little factoid for you. Do you know why Cornish pasties, have the crust? You know, the big sort of crust that goes around.
Clamshell crust.
Yeah. Do you know why that's there?
No.
Really sort of one of those useless little nuggets of information that a friend of mine told me.
So yes.
Back in the old days, during the war, as Uncle Albert used to say, Cornwall had a load of tin mines. Cornwall was known back in the day for tin mining, right? And what would happen, obviously, you'd have tin miners go down under. I've just seen that comment from you, Dyche. I'm not responding because I could get in trouble. I like pork sausage, as in.
You like being porked by sausage? Well, you heard it first. Oh, hey!
God. No, not like that. Jesus. Anyway, back to the topic. So you'd have the tin miners going down and they'd do a hard day's graft underground and this, that, and the other. And of course, back in the day, you didn't have like wash facilities like we've got now. Everything wasn't health and safety back then, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know who come up with the idea, but what they did is they got this like pastry encrusted thing with sort of like your meat, your spuds, that, and the other, all in there. And the purpose of the crust was because you're down underground, your hands are going to be sort of like quite sort of lot of coal and shit and general gunge all over it, whatever. So you'd hold it, you'd eat the sort of like the innards and this, that, and the other, leaving you with the sort of like the crust crescent sort of thing. And that you'd literally just chuck away.
Really?
Yep.
Cyber, to answer your question, I'm going to leave that there for you. You can have a little Google, mate. You'll find out exactly where it is.
Yeah, it's not that end. If you know where Blackheath Hospital is and you go sort of like from Blackheath Hospital towards Lewisham, if you follow that road, it's as you get to the end and you hit a set of traffic lights and you've got the bowling alley on your right-hand side, the pub's on the left.
Yeah, if you know, down the road, isn't it?
if you know your geography of sort of like Greenwich and Lewisham boroughs, you'll find it.
Easy enough. Go off the train and walk. So simple.
Anyway,
Gatesy,
we've given you lessons on how a Cornish pasty came about. We've given you lessons on all sorts of general tomfoolery. You listen. You don't get this. You don't get this on other YouTube channels, do you? Well, maybe you do.
Well, no, they probably do it better.
Probably. What do you mean, probably?
All right, yeah, fair enough. Probably.
We know as that. Do you remember that sketch, the two Ronnies and John Cleese? We know our place.
We do, don't we? That's
We
not
do.
lie.
We do.
As I've said before, we're the non-scripted YouTube channel. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we just chat shit for nearly 2 hours, basically.
Nearly 2 hours. We're good at that.
Yeah,
It's all right. There'll be people that log on and watch it. They might not make it to the end, but there'll be people that log on and watch this another day.
God help them.
Good luck to them.
Should we bugger off?
Let's call it.
Okay, what are we, Duke?
Fucking massive.
You know it. Come on, you irons.